Somehow, despite having no attention span, I've managed to write so much in the last week. And not just for me, like legitimately a lot. This week has been miraculous. So little has gotten in the way of writing, and all I had to do was be on top of my own impulses. Alright, that's the problem. Using some of the techniques I've explained in the past, I managed to get on top of my symptoms and have probably had my most productive writing week of my life. It worked because of the weird circumstances that are going on in the world right now. And for once, I wasn't flailing because of it. I managed to write over 13,000 words in a week. Obviously, it would be great if I could keep this up forever. But I don't think that's going to happen. Let me explain after the title card. Oh hey, I wonder if this week's bumpy start is what really kicked my writing into gear at the start of the week. Last Monday I was behind schedule and I hadn't actually edited last week's video. So I woke up early and had to smash through things as quickly as possible. Had to get through it before work began. I did it. I got it up, all edited and scheduled, and then was ready for my work week to begin. Don't get me wrong, I am grateful to have one of the jobs that is able to actually keep going during this whole global crisis. But at the same time, my ADHD is constantly reminding me, you could be writing right now, even though I wouldn't be. However, one of the ways I am very fortunate, and my ADHD can approve of, is that living at home with my parents means I have access to a space I can use for writing. So while I'm locked away in the cellar after work ends, there's very little setup required before I can start working away. Now that word count I mentioned before, it's really high. And I feel some explanation is required for how I managed to do it despite having a full-time job. And the trick is, as I've mentioned before, using this with a timer set for every half hour and doing writing sprint after writing sprint, getting out everything that's been in my head that I've not actually managed to get out onto the page in all that time. Starting writing projects has always been easy because, of course, novelty is really enticing to me and perseverance is less so. I've always been able to start writing something, but working on it over and over again, or if I stop for a day, 2 days, a week, and especially if it's longer, getting back to it is something that has been an absolute nightmare. You might ask, Jack, why is that? And I direct you to the first of these videos. But you might ask, Jack, how do you fix that? And I've actually got an answer to that that is practical and can actually show you. I'm so proud of this because every single day I've actually been able to make a little bit more on it, and very quickly it adds up. Over the years I've tried dozens of computer programs to try and help me focus, to keep me on what I'm going on, or to use Write or Die to get my word sprints going, and that works, but tying that into a bigger story has always been a struggle. Nothing has worked as smoothly as this. And I think I know why it works so well. With this, I keep moving forward because I don't really have a choice. I don't have the ability to jump back and forth between things or work on one scene a little bit and then a little bit more and then go to the next one but go, I'm going to come back to this. If I need to add anything, I go to the page, stick a post-it on and include a note that means that I'll come back to it and change things when I next see it. It means every time I stop, it feels more like a pause. And every time I come back to it, it's like I just went for a breather. I'm exactly where I left off. And I don't have the option of going elsewhere with it and then coming back. A lot of authors hate writing chronologically. And I do understand that. I understand the appeal of working on what you're really inspired to work with at a time. But if I wait for inspiration, I'll be waiting a long time. And I won't always be in a position to work on what needs to be worked on right then. And my best experiences of storytelling have been the more traditional storytelling style. Telling it straight to someone. A lot of my early work was written in Skype message boxes, and then later it was clicked and dragged over and saved into a separate document. More recently, I play Dungeons & Dragons. I actually tend to think of my stories like they're a campaign when they're in the planning stages. All these challenges that the characters have to overcome. It's just that in a novel, they lose a lot more often than they win. They just lose without dying. And, much like I do when I'm dungeon mastering a game, I do the voices for my characters. I occasionally am sat there writing, and I'll say the lines out loud. This is in order to make sure my characters have distinctive voices when I write them. For example, a historian speaks a certain way. Look, they don't have to be performance quality, but they work for me, and it's added bones to the characters that I can then build upon. As a bonus, if anyone's spying on me while I'm writing, I look completely insane. I really have to use techniques like this because individual characterization is one of the things that I feel I'm worst at in writing. I'm not sure if it comes across that way to others, but it's something that I'm always paranoid about trying to get right. I could talk a lot about role-playing helping my stories, and I might do at a later date. But for now, back to the topic at hand. I have, in the past, completely failed, completely fallen flat on my face, metaphorically speaking, when using the Pomodoro technique and handwriting. But this time, they're really working for me. And I've been able to see a crash coming in the distance, a crash of my focus into a complete heap and standstill. But I'm not sure if that's just my own paranoia acting up. It feels so good to keep on writing, to keep working on one story. So I'm going to keep it up. Worst case scenario, it's a learning experience. Best case scenario, I'm a full-time writer in less than a year. Can I do it? People tell me over and over that it won't happen. And the thing is, that's okay. I won't stop trying, and it isn't a dream that I ever intend to give up on. There's no harm in this one. The reason I know there's no harm is because I love writing. And the reason I keep saying I love writing so much in these videos is because there's times I can forget. When I focus on a novel as a product, rather than as a process, I end up feeling obliged to that concept of a novel, like it's a way to make money. But it's not. I'm writing for myself. Doing something is so fun. If I get published, that's really me getting paid for having played in the past. And the process of writing is so amazing. I can feel what my characters feel. And when I'm done writing, I feel happy for having written, which is really great because it means I don't have to make my characters feel nice things while I'm actually working on it. Because no matter how much I actually plan ahead of time, writing feels so good because it's a journey of discovery, and because every time I discover something and every time it feels so good, every time I write, it's automatically a success. I suppose that's all I've got to say for this week. It's been a good one for me. Until next time, catch you later, Dragon Slayers.